Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through the industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Marcus Higgs. He's a presence coach for parents of preteens. Welcome to the show, Marcus.
Great to be here, Ajay. Hello.
You're
Yes.
welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about parenting preteens. So, my first question is to understand first what is a presence coach for parents of preteens? What is a presence coach?
Hey, all right. Thank you for that question, Ajay. Um, Presence means to be here and now. Yeah. And oftentimes, preteens, that's the first breaking of their identity. They're growing up as children. Um, I say there's maternal energy that says, I love you, and you're close, you're supported, and stay close. And then the natural order of things is that an adolescent turns away from their parent and they go to form their own identity. And that's where the paternal energy pushes them away and says, I love you, be independent, go on and do this. Now, we need support, so we need to stay present. And I help parents of preteens work on their communication to stay present, communication with themselves and communication with their kids. Through this first identity breaking, that's what I do. I help them stay present and show up. Yeah.
Right, right. Now let's understand a bit about you, about
Okay.
your journey. Why are you into this? What have you been doing before, or was it the same thing that you have been doing from the very beginning?
Well, okay, so my father is from the Bahamas. I'm here in the Bahamas. My mother's from the Philippines. And let's start with I grew up in the church, so spiritually minded, right? And when I graduated from college, university, I went off to Korea to be a missionary English teacher. I changed my worldviews. I have no animosity towards the church or anything, but I believed something differently, and I was just like, but I still had a connection with the divine, and I wanted to continue being a teacher. So then I taught in Saudi Arabia, I taught in Thailand, I taught in Spain, and I was working with students in high schools and in language institutes and so on. Um, and during that time, while I would have parent-teacher meetings, I would think, a lot of this could be not solved at home, but a lot of work can be done at home with the first education, right? And I really do believe that this is where it's going to shift more so with the advent of AI and so on. Um, Mr. Rogers, he's this guy from America who was an educator, and he said, if you want to help the children, you help the parents. So I said, you know what? I want to come out of the classroom because the classroom I think wasn't bringing forth the best out of the kid. And I said, let me work with the parents to, that's what the word parent means. It means to bring forth. So I said, how can I have the farthest reach? And that is by supporting parents from the home to help them be present and show up for their kid. This is heavily on my heart, and especially for the developing world. I mean, that's where I came from. That's where I've done all my work. And actually, tell you the truth, Anjay, that's actually going to be the turn of the future. And if I could explain real quick, are you open to it?
Yes, yes, please.
So we look, if you want to look for what the future is, you look for where the youth are. And inside the developed world, that is Western world and East Asia and Europe and so on, they're aged out, they're getting old. So two things are going to happen. The price of technology is going to drop with AI. So there's going to be more access to education. There's going to be more access to all these things where we can build. What technology does, it speeds up consciousness. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if you look at where the youth are, it's in Africa and in India. And that's where the vivacious, the liveliness, the enthusiasm is going to come for the next turning of this world, of this globe, in our shared humanity. So I think that's my thought for the future. Of course, we don't know it. The only thing that's certain is change. But I want to be ready for that change. Yeah.
Absolutely, Marcus. Now let's understand about these preteens.
Yeah,
What is the reason for discord with their parents? With what do preteens want? What is it that they are being stopped? I want to understand. Or just the
sure.
it is like that.
All right. So if we look at it like this, nobody likes to be controlled, right? Preteen or not preteen, this is all human development. But as you're growing up as a child, you are the manager for your child. You're telling them where to go, when to, you're changing them. They want to gain their independence and autonomy. Now at this preteen age, now check this out, Ajay. This is where skepticism starts to arise because before everything was black and white. As a parent, everything you said was black and white. But now as they start to experience the world more, they start to see, well, you know what? This is not right what my mom or dad said, but they don't know what nuance is. So they say, if this is not right, can I trust this? And this is where they start to actually turn away to experience new things, and they start to be more risky because they have um, that they're at this, but this is a natural thing. They are supposed to go out to explore, to test this world. Ideally, in an ideal situation, they'll turn to other trustworthy present parents or other trustworthy adults inside their community to learn. But of course, every character in a story grows from having an antagonist or someone they're against. As a parent in their life, in the story, you're the closest thing, so they have to turn against you. But if you do it right, after they become independent, the next form is interdependence. And they come back if you stay present. And if you, I say do it right, but if you stay present, there's interdependence afterwards. That is, I will take care of me to be in service of you. If you take care of you to be in service of me. So yeah.
Right, right. So you said about control. Nobody wants to be controlled. Fair enough. But but what about teens? How can they derive that that somebody is trying to control them, especially their parents? Why do
Parents.
they get their impressions? Is it that parents are doing something right or wrong? And how? What is it that can give that impression to the preteens?
Well, I mean, Anjay, I don't know how old you are, but you have some wisdom on the side here. I have some wisdom here. We know that people, so they're learning how to do this their first time in life. So they think we're trying to control them. I used to be a high school teacher in class, and I say, these are the expectations, these are the rules, these are the consequences. I'm not trying to control you, I'm trying to give you freedom for your expression, but it is an expression for your well being and my well being. And if I think it's not that, then I invite you to the conversation. But I mean, they're teenagers, so they are going to push back. They are going to push the boundaries. They want to expand, and I say, yeah, I want you to expand as well. And that's why there's pushback. They think pushback means pushing against them to destroy them. It's not. No, it's not to destroy you, but this is how we're creating a robust, holistic person because we need resistance actually.
Right, right, Marcus. So how can parents, create that, communication line with them? Because
Hey,
earlier there was no social media. Now you have social media. So the
oof.
preteens are busy. They have something in hand that will keep them
Mm,
busy. They have the phone. Their phone, their mind is full. Their hands are full. Everything is full. So for that moment, they don't need their parents except for the money for whatever they need. So the parents are very in a very difficult situation.
yeah.
How do they then get into the lives of their preteens? Because it's their responsibility to, and as well as to make sure that they are not doing the wrong things with either the device in their hands or with
Mm.
the phone calls and everything. So how it's a tricky thing. How do you right in a right man way open the channels of communication with the preteen?
So I hear two questions there, and I'm going to put it back to you just to clarify. You're asking how do we open the channels of communication, and then especially with all the other social media and distraction things. I heard a question in there about like how do we
Yes.
deal with social media?
Yeah, because you are also concerned that the preteen might be using it for things that you don't want them to use, because they have got
Sure,
friends who are also available on the phone or on the
sure.
chat systems.
Sure. So there are two things there. I'm going to answer the first one of how do we open up communication. So in my show up framework that I have, um, it starts with a strong character identity. All action comes from identity. And these are character strengths, we call them in positive psychology, what I study. These are in all cultures, all religions, or all faiths, in all nationalities. This is what it means to be human. When you have that character inside them and you start having conversations about that, they know that there's goodness inside them. One. The second, that's S. H is hold space for collaboration. When their identity is breaking, they're wondering and thinking, what's wrong with me? You have to let them know there's nothing wrong with you. Rather, you are having a problem, and I'm in collaboration. I'm standing next to you to help solve this problem, right? Or explore this problem. And there's actually a framework in which we have how you go through that communication. We say communication without being preachy, without speaking down to them, without maintaining their dignity, right? SHO. O is actually open up communication. Ajahn, one of Anjay, the sharing stories is one of the best ways to pass on your virtues or values to let them know what's important to you. The thing about being with a preteen is you have to let them know that you are there to be trusted even when they're being dysregulated, even when they're going all about, because we're entering into an age of trust, not just attention. And if they know that they can trust you, they are going to go out there. They are going to do risk. There is small risk, there's big risk. We want to have actually that conversation, and they are going to turn back to you if they can trust you. The W is wonder and explore this world together, because with that W, it's project based learning. It's giving their hands and their minds something to do based on their character. So, like you said, they do have all this time, but they need to direct this energy somewhere. Kids want to direct this energy, they just don't feel supported or they feel they don't have the skills. If we can develop that for them, or if we can create that environment for them, um, it's worth noting the phone, while it is a poison, we can say, it is also medicine because look, it's how I'm talking to you now. There's also beautiful things about technology. It's just speeding up the flow of consciousness. So if at the root, at the core of their identity, we establish there's beauty in there to be in service of the community, I think yeah, the phone, it will be a distraction, but we need to have that conversation about it and we need to be open so that they can turn back to us when they're ready.
Right, Marcus. Now, among the parents, who is the best bet for communicating with the preteen when that difficult situation is going on, either mood swings or shouting and all that stuff? How does it work?
Who is, again, your question is who is the best? Meaning, do you mean mother or father
Yes,
or
yes.
who? I will say this: the best person the teen needs is the one who can meet their needs. Is it the mother? Is it the father? Is it the uncle? Is it the teacher? It's the person who can meet the need of the child. Because this is the interesting thing. Because this is the first time they're experiencing it, they don't know what their needs are, and they don't know how to communicate their needs. So this is Angela Duckworth. She speaks about this. What they need is one psychologically wise adult, one wise adult who can actually walk through their thoughts with them, and walking in their thoughts with them actually teaches them how to think. Right. So that's who they need. Um, I would recommend no shouting because that's like a snow globe. When you shake it up, the communication is lost no matter what you say when they're shouting. Yeah.
Right, Marcus. Now, when this mood swings or change or pattern or shouting or whatever is happening,
Yeah, yeah,
how
yeah.
does a parent understand whether it's just that preteen trying to understand things, or is it there is some underlying factor also? Sometimes within all those noise it becomes difficult to know that the child is having problem or something else. How does
Yeah.
that work out? Again,
Yeah.
how do one know about it and then be present accordingly?
Sure. Two things come to mind when I hear this. First of all, when there's isolation in the home, teens want their privacy because they are trying to process their thoughts. Sometimes, unfortunately, they go to social media to process it, but this is the way we process our thoughts is by connecting with peers or connecting with other adults, we say, and we think our parents are the source of our issue. But um, isolation is normal at this stage. However, keep notice if there is also social isolation. If they start breaking away from their peers, if they start breaking away from other parts of the community, then that's where you need to get a specialist and look in regards to depression and so on. But if they still have interaction at home or interaction inside, it's not home, interaction at school or interaction with your faith-based organizations, but they're turning away from you, just it don't take it personal. Don't take it personal and know that it's not permanent. It's not permanent. And it might be a small area in their life, but it's not pervasive. It's not in all areas of their life. It might be just one thing they're dealing with. That's the first thing. Second thing is communicate to them that you are there to support them when they're ready on their time. Just to give you a quick story, um, there was a time when I was teaching in high school, and I it was my first year at this place, and I was told I was going through a lot of stress. My mother was passing. It was COVID, and I woke up in the morning and I was crying, and my eyes were red. And I came to school, and I remember my principal said, "Hey man, before you spiral out, before you do anything wild, know that you can always come to my office." And I think he thought I was drinking, but I mean, I one, I wouldn't drink before class, but I wasn't drinking or I wasn't doing anything. But he could see that I was tired and I was frazzled. I make that point to say I knew there was support. I knew there was a person who was willing to even listen to me when I needed it. I didn't go to his office then, but knowing that there is support, it alleviates a lot inside your mind. So when you see this, that's why I say be present. And actually, you're giving them autonomy to say, when you're ready to move, I'm here and I can be trusted. That's the whole point of this. It is you putting on your mask first. And that's what I do. I help parents put on their mask first while they're dealing with their teen.
Right, Marcus. Now, if if mother and father both are there, one both have you have got two ways of dealing with the preteen.
Mm,
But if it's a
mm,
single mother or father, there is only one
mm,
way to deal it.
mm,
How do
mhm.
you then become a friend as well as a parent to the preteen? Are singles do singles face problems much more differently? Do they face more problems? How does it work there?
Every family's different. Every family's different. And I hear how you say, how do you be a friend while also being a parent? Maybe you can't fill all the roles, and understandably, uh, you have to accept that truth. I will say this. Um, as humans in human development, it's called alloparenting. It takes a village to support a parent. um, there are supposed to be other trustworthy adults inside their lives. And again, that's why I encourage faith-based organizations and I don't care about which faith it is, what you believe. I care about your values that you hold. I've traveled around the world. I've seen good and bad in all things. But there need to be other people inside that child's life who are working for the well-being of that child. Because you're right, no one person can go it alone. I, I don't care if it's one mother, one father. My father, my father was divorced when I was 12. We came back to the Bahamas, but it's because I had my aunts. It's because I had my teachers. It's because I had this community around me that while he was being a father as strong as he could, there were areas where he couldn't serve me, and I was served inside, and I was kept up. So my point is, we need communities for that with other parents, with other trustworthy present parents. And if you are an adult, you need to be that for teenagers who are going through stuff. Reach out to single mothers. Reach out to single fathers if you see that. Yeah.
Right, Marcus. Now, as a presence coach, uh, what do parents normally, generally come to you for, or are there very tough situations also with these preteens and their parents?
We all have problems, eh? Yeah. The usual problems are I'll talk about the usual problem of the preteen, and then I'll say what the parents come to me for. It's ICE, your identity breaking. So they're trying to figure out who am I inside this world. And the thing is, that's that's the same problem for all of life. In life, we're continually asked, who am I? C, collaboration mistrust. Like I said, we're in the information age now, which means it's the attention economy. I think now with AI and everything, it's going to be the trust economy. Trust is built over time. So it, the preteen at this age doesn't know who they can trust while their identity is breaking. And the EICE is emotional mismanagement. They don't know how to manage their emotions when everything's falling apart. So when all these the hormones, the identity, the trust and all this is coming breaking apart, parents come to me because how do I communicate to my kid? How do I show up for them? How do I be present for them? I give you a framework and I give you perceptions that we can make it actionable. There's all this information out there, don't get me wrong, but it's how do we make it actionable? You find people who have gone this road before. Yeah. So that's
Right.
what they usually come to me for communication, for how do I communicate and connect with my kid?
Absolutely. There is much to learn about all these things from you, Marcus, and I'm sure a lot of people, a lot of parents would like to, learn more about you, from you, connect with you, and even
Mhm.
engage with you professionally. So, what's the best way for them to do so?
My name, marcushiggs.com. If you go there, it'll talk about what I do, and then there's a form to reach out to me. Other than that, um, if in regards to business, contact me on LinkedIn. Everything goes to my LinkedIn. My other social is out there, but that's just personal stuff for my family and so on. But marcushiggs.com, that's where you can find me.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Jay, thank you, sir. All right.